I'm like, where'd you go? I came in and shit out of nowhere, yeah, I didn't mean to scare you, bro. Used to look around and like, where he...
Alright guys, welcome to another edition of BrownBoys Talk Footy. Joining us for the first time since we're coming back is Zorawar, a Manchester United fan. And today we're going to be talking about FPL differentials. So we've classified differentials as players that have under a 10% ownership. And these are players that they don't usually stand out when you think about it. When you list big name players, it's like Aguero, Sterling, KDB. So those aren't really those type of players. They're players like hidden gems per se. The ones that have a lot of good returns but aren't owned by a lot of people. So that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. And we've listed 5 differentials that you should consider for the upcoming game weeks. And we'll start with Vyom, who's going to be talking about his.
Actually, before we start, we just want to make a shout out to Soccer Globals, a really good Instagram page. And all you got to do is go to the page and hit the follow button. And there are really great benefits, such as giving you all the transfer news from the top of the day. As you can see, big news upon Sanchez, Griezmann, Maradona. So they do it all over the top 5 leagues and keep you up to date with every single league and the transfers which go on every single day. So if you want to go updates, if you want to see general updates every day regarding players' performances or transfers, then I feel Soccer Globals is the best site. So have a look.
Okay, so our first FPL differential is going to be discussed by Zorawar.
So yeah, off the back of his newly signed deal at Arsenal, my differential is going to be Bukayo Saka. I mean, I think the best benefit with him is his price. He's only like 4.4 million. He plays in midfield, but for Arsenal, he basically plays all across the pitch. He'll play on left wing, right wing, left mid, left back. And I think he's probably one of Arteta's most trusted players. As we saw, he was rested for the game against Norwich. And he's probably one of the most highly rated Premier League youngsters this season. He's got 12 assists in all competitions. So he's definitely a good value pick. And even though Arsenal probably don't have the best fixtures, we've seen under Arteta, they've had really good big game performances. They beat Manchester United. They drew / the way they celebrated, they beat Chelsea going to them. But I mean, they've struggled in the smaller games except Norwich. But I think Bukayo Saka is probably a great value pick. Like even to be on off the bench most weeks. At 4.4 million, you can bench him or start him. So he's probably a good asset going forward in FPL.
All right, we'll have Karan's differential now.
Yeah, so my differential is Heung-min Son. So like, unlike Saka, he's kind of high value at 9.8. However, like the reason I'd classify him as a differential is because he's only selected by 8.8% of FPL owners. And then if you look at his fixtures, basically Spurs don't have any fixtures left with teams of more than 3 FDR. And if you look at their fixtures more closely, other than maybe Arsenal or Sheffield, most of these games and Leicester, most of these games are easy. And even these games, the teams they're going up against don't have elite defenses. So he has a really good run of fixtures to end the season. And then also, he's just got back into form with an assist in the last game week, and the week prior he also started again, and the game week before he also started against United. So for my pick would be Heung-min Son.
All right, great picks. And now
just on that point, I have one question for KJ. Probably like, don't you think in terms of value midfielders, there's better players or more consistent playing for better teams? So like you have both Salah, Mane for Liverpool, you have De Bruyne, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have Mahrez even. So you've got quite a few players in that price bracket. They're probably a bit more consistent.
Yeah,
you don't play for a shit manager like Jose Mourinho.
I mean, yeah, the last part I can't dispute. Jose Mourinho is a shit manager. Having said that, the main thing about these players you mentioned, Liverpool have already won the title. So while they might go for records, there's no guarantee with them. Similarly with City, more or less, Pep's rotation is going to screw everyone up. And also, the 5 substitution rule is also going to screw people up because of Pep's substitutions. So, and then if you look at it, Spurs still have something to compete for in the league. So that's why Son will actually pretty much have a guaranteed start in most game weeks as compared to these players who are probably better but are more expensive and have less guarantees to start.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you think Son is how many minutes would you say Son is guaranteed to play in a game? Because they have no shortage of attackers up front. Spurs.
Yeah, they don't, but problem with them is that like they don't have the best attack or anything. So like unlike City who basically go up 3-0 or 4-0 by the start of the second half or something, and then they can bench their players. Spurs can't really do that, and Jose has trusted Son a lot, so that's why I can see Son getting a lot of minutes, 80 to 90 minutes on a regular basis. As Spurs have something to compete for, and they don't have the best offense in the league, or even close to it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, great. So now we'll have Ariman talking about his differential.
Right. So my differential would be none other than the World Cup winner, Paul Pogba. And honestly, if I speak, Paul Pogba in the last 3 game weeks has really improved his form. I'm gonna give the example for the match against Sheffield as an example. Because one of the main complaints for Manchester United earlier was we were not able to perform against small teams. But now, considering our form, I don't think that is much of a problem now. Whereas the main person I'm talking about, Paul Pogba, while playing CDM in a narrow 4-2-3-1 formation, Paul Pogba has this urge to keep pushing forward for plays. And honestly, I feel with the differential of about just 4, Paul Pogba is an extremely good pick because as a midfielder, not only does he get 2 points for a clean sheet in FPL, which would be very possible because United has very easy fixtures for the next all game weeks. And also I feel that right now Paul Pogba is an excellent pick to take because his link up with Bruno Fernandes in the last game against Brighton was really good. And at this point, and in the midst of these fixtures, I feel Pogba is an excellent pick to take.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
out of this, that was Robert.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to that, there's like a lot of people had doubts on how Pogba and Bruno are probably going to fit together. But I think in the 2 games so far that they've played together in the league, I think we've already seen they've got probably incredible chemistry. And Pogba's playing a lot deeper, yes, but he's probably our most involved player on the pitch. His combinations with Bruno, Rashford, Martial. And most people have like Rashford, Martial, Bruno anyways. But Pogba's probably going to start getting a lot more assists by way of Bruno and Rashford and all these guys. And with only 4% ownership, he's definitely a way to rise up to the ranks. And he's quite cheap also, only 8 million. So he's probably a good pick.
He's probably United's best playmaker and best creative player. So that
are you really going to knock Andreas Pereira like that? Jesus Christ.
My apologies. As the second best. Yeah.
I think I missed another point now, which I want to say before I end this topic on Paul Pogba.
I have a question to ask you.
All right, go ahead.
So a lot of people have tripled up on United attackers with Martial, Rashford, and Fernandes up front. So who would you replace if you had to replace one of them with Pogba? Who would it be? Like I've tripled up with those 3. So if I had to replace one of them, who would it be?
I mean, personally speaking, I would not have I would not have Rashford. Sorry, considering that Bruno is. I'll give explanations on both parts. Martial these days is playing as a sole striker for United in the 4-2-3-1 formation, and I'm only saying this formation was, but Martial would end up being in a goal scoring opportunity a lot more than other players being the sole striker. And another thing about Bruno Fernandes, which who you're talking about, was Bruno Fernandes has a really good a habit or a pattern you could see in the last few games. A pattern of pushing forward during counterattacks and making good opportunities of those counterattacks, which we saw against Brighton in the last game. So I feel if you really want to keep 3 United players, I feel at this point Rashford would be the best one to remove And if I were in your spot, I would take Martial, Bruno Fernandes, and Pogba.
All right, great. Now we have Vyom discussing Christian Pulisic.
Yeah. So my differential is, as Rohan said, Christian Pulisic. For Chelsea, he's been the main driving force in the attack. Obviously, Willian has played really well, but I think what Willian lacks is where Christian Pulisic is good, and he just creates attacks more than any Chelsea player. He's really good at running into defenses and creating attacking opportunities and giving other players in the Chelsea lineup an opportunity to come ahead as well. And this shows because post the restart of the Premier League, in the last 4 matches, he's got 2 goals, 2 assists, and 2 man of the matches as well. And it's not like we've had easy games. And in the next 4 game weeks as well, Chelsea have a run-up of slightly suitable fixtures. Obviously, we can ignore what happened to the West Ham and hope that against Watford, Crystal Palace, Sheffield and Norwich, we can do better performances. And if
Watford are on a relegation battle like West Ham, so anything's possible.
Watford will destroy Chelsea as always.
Troy Deeney.
Nail-biting games.
This is gonna age so bad.
I could imagine Troy Deeney destroying Rudiger the way he played last night at least.
Oh yeah, I mean that's very much in the cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll make sure I watch it live so that I don't cry. But other than that, yeah, if Chelsea are going to do good, Pulisic is going to be at the center of it. So with only 6.6% ownership and like a decent price of 7 million, he should be pretty good in your lineup, especially considering people like Jack Grealish are 6.6/6.8 million as well.
And
Doing nothing.
They play for a bigger club than Chelsea, but
Bro,
that's
Vyom, I wanted to ask something. I'm not taking a take at your club. I literally have this genuine question. Suppose I'm an FPL player and I want to take Pulisic. With the current form of Chelsea, why do you feel I have a good reason for taking Pulisic right now?
I think we're overreacting. It was just one game.
It was literally one game. They were pretty good before
Last week, Chelsea beat City, and even in the game that Chelsea lost,
They're gonna genuinely so funny.
I'm just saying, because one game is a bit than saying current form of Chelsea.
No, but honestly, that game wasn't the only game I watched. I also watched the games against Aston Villa in the against Aston Villa in the Premier League. And honestly, for the first 50 to 55 minutes, I did not see Chelsea dominating the entire game.
I mean, they kind of were, and the thing is, all the games are spoken about Aston Villa. Pulisic came off the bench and scored. City, Pulisic scored.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Pulisic got fouled and got the penalty.
I think the thing Vyom was actually mentioning was that like if Chelsea does something good in attack, basically Pulisic is involved. He's probably the most involved attacking player for Chelsea right now. And like Chelsea's attack isn't that bad, plus decent fixtures. So that's why you
wouldn't really see Pulisic getting those 2 extra points every game week though, because of Chelsea's shit defense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
you will get 3 points for this.
As a goal scorer, I agree.
It's kind of like the Hazard thing. It's like whenever Hazard used to play with Chelsea, if Chelsea score, Hazard's going to be involved somehow.
Just so
kind of see Pulisic going into that role.
From that to that.
He's obviously not as good as Hazard yet. Probably could get there. But in terms of involvement in the attacking play, whenever Pulisic is on the field, he's the main guy.
Okay.
And like after he got subbed in the first game, after that, like Lampard basically hasn't benched him. Like even this week, he was 75% chance to play, and he still basically played him the whole game. So like Lampard's actually playing him a lot more now. So that's another reason.
Some things he does is like kind of Hazard-esque in like how he beat Benjamin Mendy for the first goal against City, like the quick acceleration. That kind of reminds me of Hazard, but let's not get our hopes too high. It's
too bad that Werner's going to bench him next year. I really wanted to see him a bit more.
That's probably going to be Abraham, but
but Werner's not really a sole striker now, is he, KJ?
Even
that's a topic for another time.
Even though I just talked smack.
I mean, he's never really played
kind
alone
of
up
is,
front.
but
He's a second striker. He's never played alone up front, except for Germany.
I mean, that's
he always plays with the target man.
Now for Germany, but for Leipzig, it's also because there's one of their best attacking players is literally a striker. So yeah.
Yeah, but
Let's
if you see his
see,
heat maps,
it
he
will be
literally
interesting.
sticks to the left wing. I don't think he's possibly the main striker at least.
Your camera angle.
Yeah, we're gonna have more hate comments.
Yeah, man. That's
Most of them are gonna be us, but still, bro, change your camera.
yeah.
So if we're done with the Pulisic discussion, we'll round out today's video with my differential. Alan St. Maximin, 5.5 million from Newcastle, selected by 2.2%. So ever since he's come back for the past 3 game weeks, he's averaged 9 points, scoring 1 goal and assisting 3 in his last match versus Bournemouth. He assisted 3. And at 5.5 million, granted his fixtures aren't the best, but at 5.5 million, you can leave him on the bench without feeling like you're wasting a lot of money, because 5.5 is not a lot for a midfielder, especially at a differential. But whenever he plays a team like West Ham, Watford, or Brighton, which are his 3 good remaining fixtures, he is bound to do something for Newcastle, especially because he's been involved in almost every single goal since the restart of the season per se. And if you have the spare funds and maybe want to free up space for a quality premium or a quality defender, then Maximum would be your choice. So all right, on that.
I just have one question for Saint Maximin, because his fixtures are one kind of average team, one good team. West Ham, Man City, Newcastle, Spurs, Brighton, Liverpool. So do you think that he's going to be consistently able to score points for your team?
I would leave him out for the games against the top 6, well, at least the former top 6, because I mean, there's no point in playing a 5.5. He's not a premium at all, and I feel like you can leave him on the bench without feeling like it's a good bench burn or something. Because at 5.5 million, you shouldn't be expecting someone to score every single game. But with that being said, especially in the low remaining FTR games versus West Ham and Brighton and Watford, I feel like he should do a great job. So I would play him for those 3, bench him for the other 3, and free up funds for maybe Fernandez or maybe some other KDB or maybe another player. All right, and with that being said, just giving another shout out to Soccer Globals. Follow him on Instagram and like his posts.
Or her, you don't know if it's a him, do you?
Follow them on Instagram, like their posts, and yeah, we'll be sure to catch you for the next video. Thanks, guys.
Young winner, young sinner, peace when I'm done. In a head spinner, cash spinner, brother, I'm the bread winner, bread, but the wrong got the UMP, the soul son, the Johnny Glover, weapon of an enemy, so they never bubble whoa. My life, I'm keeping it all on the low.